So, what do you think about Lithuania's two dress rehearsals now, and what do you think about our chances to go through the final?
I think they actually really improved what you already had in the national final. Like, I think there was some issues with him being a bit too dark throughout the entire performance, and while there's still in the beginning pretty dark shadows on his face, I think they really light it up very nicely towards the second and the third chorus even. It's a bit more lightly, and I think the thing on his nose makes a bit more sense. Like, I think there's a little bit of a change there as well. I think it really works on this big stage, and I'm very, very optimistic about Lithuania's chances, actually. Yeah.
What do you think about the qualification?
I think that's without a question, really. Like, I've got Lithuania as like one of the first checks on the box, really. Yeah.
And what do you think we can expect in the finals?
That's a bit of a difficult one, because there will be also some more televote-friendly songs coming for semi-final 2, I think. That's also a bit more techno-inspired. So maybe just outside of the top 10 or something like that, but left-hand scoreboard. So like top 13 then, I guess. I think it makes sense.
I think it's very good. I think it's a good, better version of what he did in the national final. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I don't remember the name, but it's the same spirit. But he and his dancers, they use the space, the entire space, the space better. It works a lot with the colors. The crowd loved it. The bass helps a lot. We're dancing to it, and yeah, I think he's a sure qualifier. Even if he's early in the running order, it should work. And I mean, for the final, I'm not completely sure. I don't think the juries will kill it, but I can't see him doing like top 5 in juries or top 10. And it could be a surprisingly good song with the televote. I can see him like lower mid top 10. So yeah. He could. I don't see him in the general top 5, but you could end up like between 15 and 6, and I mean 6, 8, 10 would be very good, especially with the hype that's been going on since the beginning, since the national final. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on him. And he's a sweet guy, a bit shady from what I saw but nicely shady from what I saw in the German interview. But sweet guy. We saw him in the press center after the afternoon rehearsal. He was doing interviews. Very nice. So I hope he does well in general and in Eurovision.
Yeah, I think with Sylvester Belt, the performance has been certainly elevated from the national final. He hasn't had to change anything, I don't think. I think the power was already there, the strength was already there, and he hasn't put a foot wrong for me. It's still very strong, note perfect, foot perfect with the dance routine. The colour scheme is fantastic with the reds, the pulsating colour scheme is fantastic. I love it, love it.
What do you think about the qualification? Are we through? Are we going through?
100%. Is the sky blue? Well, does night come after day? Yeah, yeah.
What place do you think Lithuania can get like in this semi-final and then in the final?
In the semi-final, I'd be very surprised if Lithuania isn't within the top 5 of the semi-final qualifications. And in the final, it's such an open year. It's so tough to call. Any one of 10, I think, could possibly win this year. But I'd love to see Lithuania inside the top 10. I would hope for that, for sure.
Oh, I think the song is very good. I think it has a good chance to go through. I think the staging is very spectacular. A lot of lights. I like the colors as well. So I think it's a very good performance.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the staging really takes it to the next level as well, which is always great with Eurovision. You can have a good song, etc., but then the staging, once you get there, it really moves you to the next level. It really like pushes it with the audience as well to remember it going forward. So, yeah, it's up there.
What do you think about Lithuania's chances to qualify?
Really good, actually. Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good bunch of songs this year, so it's tricky, but I would also say it's definitely up there with the contenders. So yeah, I'd stay positive.
Contender to qualify or contender to win?
Let's start with qualifying.
Yeah, we start with that, I would say.
If we qualify, what do you think? Which place can Lithuania get this year?
Absolutely top 10, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really tricky. Some years it feels like people go for more, like it's like crazy, and then other years it's more like people are feeling more of a ballad type of song, and then sometimes like, oh, it's really house, and you just never really know where the audience is going to go, and I kind of feel that way this year as well. That
Definitely.
yeah,
It's hard to say. It's a lot of up-tempo songs this year. So yeah, it's hard concurrence.
So actually, Looked was one of my favorite songs this year. So that part, I'm so happy. And then the staging was very similar to the national final. It has adapted, I think, properly to the Eurovision stage, and I think it's a sure qualifier for tomorrow. And let's see what happens in the final. So you should be really happy for your performance this year.
What would be your guess for the final?
For the final. I think in the left part of the scoreboard for sure, but I think an 11, 10 maybe?
Who do you think, the jury or the televote are going to support this more?
I think it's more for the jury, because it's very colorful and it's very dynamic, and I think it's a performance that juries will appreciate really well.